would have told you that last night LSU won a national championship, you would say, well, Blake, we know it's probably March, but the ladies didn't win a national championship. Is there something that you saw out there in spring football that makes you think that they're going to win a national title? I mean, maybe Jay does it, but that's not going to be happening until June. What do you mean that LSU won a national championship last night? What I would tell you is that bottom of the ninth, 2 out, and runners on second and third. And Ben Ruffino comes up for the LSU Tigers. Yes, the LSU Tigers. And as we're sitting there playing MLB The Show 25, in a 2-2 count, fastball low and outside, Ben Ruffino takes a fastball into the right field bleachers in Omaha and sends one out. LSU wins a national championship over South Carolina and Paul Maneri. Yes, I have this all on this here iPhone because I took pictures of it. Of Ben Ruffino in the bottom of the ninth sending one into the right center field bleachers in Omaha to win it. So, yes, we guided LSU to a national title last night, and in no way is that depressing. Nevertheless, you're not here to talk about MLB The Show 25. Have you played it, though? That is the question. Have any of you been out there this week? Have you bought MLB 25? Have you played it? All I have done has played with LSU as Ben Ruffino at shortstop. Yes, I did do it last night. And we did beat Paul Maneri and the boys in the national championship. You're not here to hear that. You're here to talk about LSU. We'll break down the game last night from UNO as we were unable to do a postgame. T-ball got real last night, man. T-ball got really, really good last night. So we're unable to do a postgame. LSU did run rule UNO. But we will talk about that. We'll do a little Texas preview here tonight as well. Some things to expect against the weekend in Texas. Texas did lose last night to UTSA. I saw a lot of you like, oh, yeah, well, they lost to UTSA. Maybe we can go in there and take 2 or 3. We can. Pump the brakes. Just because a team like Tennessee, who is only ranked at the number 1 slot for 1 day. 1 day, Tennessee's at number 1, and they lose in midweek. No. Just because Texas lost a midweek to UTSA last night does not mean at all that you should take them lightly, so we'll break them down here tonight. Also, Tristen Keys, the number 5 overall player on 247, number 3 player on On3, whichever service you would like to go and look at. But Tristen Key has committed, the 5-star wide receiver, 6'3", 180 out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, commits to LSU. We will talk about Tristen, and that commitment. Is LSU going to pop another big 5-star? Yes, I said it. We'll talk about that as well. But I know what you're all here to talk about tonight. I know what all of you have been waiting and dying on to talk about. Will Wade. That's what I know that y'all came in here to talk about. Will Wade. As it was announced that NC State is going to be hiring Will Wade as their next head coach. Let's talk about it. Listen, we do not talk a lot about men's basketball on this show. We did not this season, especially on the top of the especially, because of how bad they were. And we knew it. And I'm not, if you're going to tell me that you're not going to take it serious, I'm not going to take it serious either. But something happened today because a lot of people thought that Will Wade would be going to the University of Texas. And that is not happening. At least as of right now, that is not what is going to be happening. Is he is going to be going to NC State. This is what I'd say about this whole Will Wade thing. Can we put that in the past now? I think that you and I and everyone needs to put Will Wade in the past. Can you have good connections with him? Yes. Can you love that he was your head coach at a given time? Yes. Can you also understand, and with what anybody tells you, that he was sacrificed for what LSU, and probably rightfully so, thought of as a bigger cause, that being football. It doesn't matter. It is the truth. The ungod truth. Will Wade gets hired McNeese, have 2 really great seasons. He's on his way to NC State. I know that you want men's basketball. A lot of you want men's basketball to be elite. Who doesn't? What are we arguing about? But I just feel like early on, I think the writing was on the wall that LSU was going to do this. Now that we look back on it, for a bigger cause. You know that, and I know that. And Scott Woodward's got to live with the Matt McMahon hire and firing of Will Wade. And they got to be better. There is no doubt about that. I hope today that, number one, Will Wade not staying in the SEC, or not going to the SEC, I say staying in the SEC, but not going to a school inside the SEC, that this burden gets taken off that you feel. There are a lot of great coaches out there that can make LSU a winner. You need to hire one. You need to hire one. And that is a truth. There are a lot that could do it. Scott Woodward is known as the big game hunter. Okay? Go big game hunt. I know you want it in football, but you might have a little way to go there. I just think us as a fan base, you can love him. You can think he was a great coach. But I think it's time to get over it. Don't be that X that can't get over you. Or you be the X that you can't get over something. You got to move on. We got to move on. You can't dwell on this shit. Anyway. All right, let's get to a couple comments before we get rolling. Zachary Miranda says, good game. It was a good game. It is a good game. It was a good game in the national title with Ben Ruffino at shortstop, number 6. It's his favorite number. Number 6. Hitting the 3-run bomb there at the end and beating South Carolina 9-6. I'm sure he's in there playing it. I'm sure. Brian Penton, good evening from Hubbard, Ohio. Go Tigers. Good to have you in here with us. Rick Cloetti says, Will Wade was a scapegoat. Right. He did it to himself. He did not make any friends. That is for sure. That is for sure. He did not make many friends. Brad Specman 03 says, watching today from Tokyo, Japan. How about that? Tokyo, Japan in the building. Gotta love it. Brian says, good evening. Oh, we got that. Rob Boudreaux says, good evening. Good evening to you, sir, as well. Zachary says, HFS, we got keys. Yeah. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about recruiting. Big pull. But look, there's something that comes with that. You got to keep him in. Got to keep it locked in, and you got to hold on to it here. You know that, and I know that. You got to tie DJ Pickett this thing. Just the truth. You got to DJ Pickett it. You're just not going to get beat out for this kid. Okay. Sounds good. We're not going to. We're not going to get beat out for. No, this kid we're not going to get beat out for. Sounds good. Go do it. Do what you got to do. All right. Rick also says, how about them Vols 0-1 at number 1? Yeah. Rick, I tell you, there were people out there that were telling me last night when I was poking fun at Tennessee yesterday. People were poking fun at me saying, dude, it's just a midweek. Y'all just won a midweek game. Okay. Then why are these smaller teams going on the road in the midweek to play these big teams? Why are they doing that? They want to win those they want to win those games against the LSUs, the Tennessees. Midweeks don't matter for the teams that you root for if you lose one. Right? I mean, like, and Jay's going to lose one. You're going to lose. I mean, we're going to lose one. It's going to happen. No one's saying it's not. It's just the ironic nature of Tennessee going and losing a game in a midweek the day that they're ranked at number 1. And then you were. And I love that. It's going to happen. But guys, read the room. For those who are like, don't freak out. It's only UNO, bro. Don't raise your hand. Read the room. Like, how much lack of awareness do you have to have here? Guys, it's a joke. By the way, if you would have lost, and you did lose to Omaha, and Tennessee fans made fun of you, it's taking a jab. It's called banter with fan bases. Anyway. All right, let's get into it. Oh, Metairee's in the house, says Robert. Yeah, where is everybody listening to from tonight? Where is everyone listening to from tonight? Put it inside the comments. We greatly appreciate it. Let's get to a quick break. Let me tell you about our good friends over at Service Hawk Digital Media. Service Hawk is soaring above the competition. Guys, do you need the right leads, the smart systems with real growth? Do you run an HVAC business? Do you run an electrical business? Or are you one of our great generator pros that are out there? Do you need those referrals in your business? Do you need better digital marketing? Service Hawk Digital Media is the place where you need to be. Go over to them today, servicehawk.com/IO. That's servicehawk.com/IO today. You can even leave them a little comment when you leave them an email or a section of part of your buy-in, your write-in, excuse me. Service Hawk Digital Media is the place that you guys need to be. Let them know that your boy Blake sent you a buy. Let me get to a quick break. Everybody hits the like and share. Share to all those groups and all those social media pages too. Let me get to a quick break. When we come back, baseball, football, recruiting. We talk about it next. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
We're back. All right. Arctic Tiger says back to golf, baby. Keep grinding, Blake. Well, you as well. If you are back, if I'm assuming I feel like I know what you're saying. Back to golf, working offshore, right? Thank you for watching from the Gulf. I think we have more listeners that listen from the Gulf of America than anywhere in the country. Okay, nobody's listening to any sports shows in the Gulf of America more than this show. So thank you, Arctic, if that's what you're talking about. Thank you so much to keep it grinding, Blake. I really do appreciate that. Yes, do us another favor too. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups. If you're on social media pages and all that good stuff, do us a favor, man. It's one click away. Share it for us. All right. Let's get to some baseball before we get to some football here. So LSU blasts UNO last night with Jones coming out of the little 2 of 13 slump that he had been in over the weekend over Missouri. I say he's in a slump 2 to 13. Okay, I guess. Well, he blasted a home run. They went 450 feet last night. He had an RBI single into right field. Oh, and by the way, he had an RBI double last night. Yeah, I think Bear Jones kind of recorrected himself, used the midweek to try to help correct himself, and absolutely smashed the baseball last night. Only a triple away from completing the cycle was the Big Bear. But last night, I had a question. I had a thought in reference to, is LSU, let me back up. We came into a season, okay, saying, hey, LSU's not going to hit a lot of home runs this year. They're going to do it a lot differently. They're going to have a lot of depth, yada, yada, yada. And then I look over the last 2.5 weeks, and I start asking myself, like, hey, man, you're close to hitting 30 home runs in 2 weeks. What is it, 25, 26 in the last 2 weeks? That's a lot. I know it's a midweek. I understand it's UNO. But you have Jones going yard. You have a young freshman in Cade Aaron Beatty going yard. You have Ethan Fry, who, look, man, I will be as blunt as anyone. I thought Ethan Fry really needed to get going. I felt like y'all felt the same way as I did. Like, hey, man, he's not doing what we needed him to do. But you know what? It didn't matter. He just continued to get better and better and better at bats. Now, the one on Sunday, the at bat that he took on Sunday, yeah, was it bad? Okay. He still had 2 hits in the game. He's still hitting the ball extremely hard. He ended the game last night. UNO is not a good baseball team. They're just not. But again, you did exactly what you need to do. And every time that we talk about this team, and in talking about the UNO game specifically, there was nothing there that I thought you did bad. And the reason I bring this up is because it is very easy in these midweek games to not give a shit. Now, you should blow out UNO. You know that, and I know that. Everyone knows that you should blow them out. Until you start going around the country, when you're starting to get midway through the season, and I start seeing these midweek upsets all over the place. Now, some of them were actually not. Like, hey, man, that's like a team being in a regional and getting an upset. Okay, cool. I also know that Southern Miss, I guess if you technically want to be technical, it was an upset, but not really. Was Mercer over Florida State last night? That's one. Tennessee was supposed to be the best team in the country. They have done everything. They swept Florida. They surpassed LSU. Well, they lose at midweek. And if they win 2 out of 3 this weekend, it's not going to matter because they're not going to move. Unless LSU sweeps Texas this weekend, then we're going to be doing some jockeying back and forth here. I look at this team and I say to myself, thank you for locking in. The depth that you have has started to create a culture of everybody needing to be bought in. Ethan Fry needs to do what Ethan Fry needs to do in these midweeks, in these games that he's coming into. He wants to play. Cade Aaron Beatty, who was the top catcher in the country coming out of high school, I guarantee you through the first close to being halfway part of the season, Cade Aaron Beatty has never set the bench this much in his life, that he wasn't arguably the best player on his team at any given moment. Well, the young buck came in and blasted one in the left center field. Bear Jones is in a slump. Hey, man, y'all can dick around tonight. I'm not. I need to kind of get going here and find my swing a little bit. That's how he probably attacked it. And it's why it happens what it happens. Again, UNO is not a good baseball team. They are a bad baseball team. We see crazier shit around the country going on. Guys, Washington lost to a Division III team last night. Crazy shit will happen in this sport. But one thing that I know for sure is I'm always going to bring up a part of a team that's locked in and focused and doing exactly what they needed to do. That's what the 23 team did. That's what every team around LSU in any sport when they've won a natty. They've locked in, and somebody, maybe not somebody that you thought coming to the stadium would be the big performer of the game, did something special. Look at women's basketball. How many threes was hitting that game against Iowa when you won it? Jay Johnson, the play from Trey Morgan. I mean, you probably expect a great defensive play from Trey Morgan, but Ty Floyd, Riley Cooper, you expect those performances the way that you got them? Special things happen when you lock in and you're focused and you're bringing in the intensity that you need to bring into. I'm not trying to overreact to a midweek game against UNO. What I am trying to say is I think that there's a deeper meaning there that will get overlooked because, as everyone says, it's a meaningless, nobody gives a shit about midweek game. That's what I ultimately believe and think. Is it right? Probably not. Is it wrong? No, it's not. I like what I'm seeing from this team. But on that thought, you do have a very big opponent coming up this weekend in the University of Texas. Now, all right, just making sure. We're about to talk about recruiting. I'm like, uh-oh. Something else just popped. Every time I get a message, I'm like, that person doesn't normally text me at 7 or between 7 and 8. Making sure something else didn't pop off. There's somebody that watches this show. His name shall be anonymous, but he says he watches all the shows. I just gave him a look 25 minutes in. He knows who he is. There's your cue. There's your cue. LSU does have a massive weekend coming in with Texas this weekend. Listen, Texas has been surprisingly pretty good to me this year. Still trying to figure some things out on Saturdays and Sundays, whether it be bullpen or whether it be starter. I mean, their starters, their Friday and Saturday guys have been pretty good. But coming out of the bullpen, especially the guys that they roll out on Saturdays, have been a little iffy at times. Weren't iffy this weekend against Mississippi State. Now, I understand that last night, UTSA, Texas lost in midweek last night in a 12-inning thriller. By the way, if you're a baseball fan and you love baseball, go watch that Texas UTSA game last night. It was incredible. This can be a dangerous team. You're going to a place that, quite frankly, guys, last night, I thought for a midweek game was loud. It was loud. Like there were people there. Think there are going to be a lot of people there this weekend when LSU comes into town? I think that there is going to be. Number 2 team in the country, just coming off being the number 1. Well, is LSU the number 1 team in the country? It's a big weekend for Texas. Big weekend for you. You find a lot out about yourself. There are 5 guys in that lineup that are hitting above 300. Ethan Mendoza, Ryan Gallivan, Max Ballou, and Adrian Rodriguez. Let's start with Mendoza and Gallivan. Gallivan, number 6, big hitter, has hit 7 bombs this year. He was a guy, if you saw some of the clips on social media, went to one knee and hit a bomb out in right center field. Guys, they can swing it. Like, they can really, really swing it. They got serious power throughout the lineup. If you are not locating and you start walking guys and you start letting extra guys on base that you're not supposed to, one bad pitch and that bitch is getting sent. It is getting sent over bleachers. Everybody in their lineup has surprisingly really good power. The first 5 guys that you're going to see in this lineup can mess you up. It's a lot like you, if we're just being honest. It's a lot like you from a pure power aspect. They have 5 guys in the lineup that can really mess you up. Where I look at Texas and see where they've struggled, 6, 7, 8, and 9, you got to do everything you can to get those guys out. You got to do everything you can to get to guys that have been struggling in the preseason of the SEC, that have really been struggling. You got to take it to them. You got to be locked in for the top 5. But guys, 6 through 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, they've struggled there a lot. The one thing that I see when I watch Texas baseball is really simple. They got a lot of power. Boy, they strike out a lot. Guys, they strike out a lot at the plate. Which made me think of the guys that are in their front 5. They got a lot of power, but what are they doing at the plate? Guys, they've already got in their first 5 guys in their lineup, whether it be Mendoza, Ballou, Rodriguez, Galvan. They've struck out a combined 150 times. We're not halfway through the year. That is a lot. Now think about your lineup, whether it be Dickinson, Jones, you struck out, but not to that level. Curiel, Milam, Pearson, that has not happened with them. Like, your front 5 guys are at least going to be very competitive. And it's not as if that Texas has played better competition than you. They haven't. They have not. I think that this is a series that you go into it. You let the emotions of the crowd get to you. You make a bad throw. You make a bad pitch. You let a couple guys get on because of stupid walks. That is what is going to get you beat. You can win this series. I feel very confident with what you have right now that you can win this series. And quite frankly, tomorrow, we might even guess it up tomorrow, but when we talk about this series tomorrow, and I give you my pick on how I think it's going down, I fully believe that you're in a situation in place where you overall probably from a talent standpoint are a better team than them. They present you a lot of challenges. I do think their Friday and Saturday night guy have been really consistent. Maybe not the best stuff, but just very consistent. You're going to see another lefty, and let's see what you do there. They present a lot of interesting challenges because last weekend I saw that bullpen allow 10 walks. And if you're around the zone, if you're leaving stuff up in the zone on Saturday, if you're leaving stuff up in the zone and you can't find the strike zone on Sundays, this team can knock you off. They can take 2 of 3 from you. They 1,000% can. So now we're really starting to get into the season here. You know, we've kind of all gotten a warm up here going into SEC play, even though last weekend. I think last weekend was what I quite frankly would consider, and I can't believe I'm going to say this about Mizzou. I'm not saying it's a tune-up series before you go into the SEC, but you kind of got that out of the system. Time to get locked in and focused, and let's go. Missouri presented those issues for you last weekend. Why do you think that Texas couldn't? Maybe LSU wasn't as locked in last weekend. That's why they come in the midweek. Jay's been on their ass. Guys, there are situations where you guys haven't been locked in. You better do it tonight. You better do it tonight, or you're going to get beat. Galvan is Rylan Galvan has been someone that I think, dude, serious power. I mean, he is only hitting 308 on the season. He's been struggling in instances. I mean, but man, he's been coming up with some massive bombs here, dude. Mendoza. Guys, Mendoza's hitting 406. He's got power. Look at the power already. And I know that it's a lot like you in a way. It's a lot like you, man. I mean, all of them have 4 home runs plus. That's like Derek Curiel hitting 4. Oh, wait. But he hadn't hit 4. I mean, that is a lot of production coming from a power standpoint on the top of their lineup. But, man, you can go in there and strike them out. That has been their problem. It's either boom or bust with them at the plate. Man, staff overall hasn't been bad for Texas either. They have a total 3.22 ERA overall. They've been solid there. I did think that last night, for what it was worth, like a lot of people would say that, when you talk about these midweeks, like, hey, man, Texas didn't throw their Friday night guy or Saturday guy, so you can't really go based off of it. They did throw their best arm out of the bullpen last night in Rojas. Rojas comes into the game. They were trying to beat UTSA. Say what you want, but they 1,000%. Guys, who is the number one guy coming out of the pen from us? Cowan. Think of who it is. That would be like Cowan coming out after just pitching on Sunday, coming out on a midweek game because you want to win really bad. I'm not saying Jay won't ever do that or wouldn't ever do that. What I am saying is that would be the equivalent of it. The kid has 8 appearances on the young season. 8. That's a lot. You miss over the plate this weekend, and you're going to get rocked. You're going to get rocked. If you're Anthony Ianson, if you're Chase Shores, you better get that ball. You better get the ball down in the zone. I think you're going to get a lot of strikeouts this weekend. And look, the good thing about going against Texas too is you've had issues at times being inside the zone. They've had a really bad issue with swinging at balls. They've had a really bad time this season trying to yank one and hit the ball hard, and the ball's probably 2 inches off the plate, and they're absolutely whiffing. Like your ex-brother-in-law at a bar trying to hit on another woman. I think this one's going to be really fun. The guys you'll see on Friday, Saturday, Jared Spencer being one of them. 2.36 ERA with 26 and 2/3 innings pitched. 17 hits had against him this year. 10 walks, 36 strikeouts. It's a lot of strikeouts in 26 innings. Dude's got stuff. Luke Harrison's the other, 2.08 ERA with 21 and 2/3 innings pitched, allowing 15 hits, 24 Ks, but 10 walks as well on the young season. Got stuff. I think that they're going, guys. I'll be real with you. I see a lot of like them in some situations than you. I just think that you're the Coca-Cola version. Like you got a lot of guys 1 through 5, 1 through 6. So do they. But you're all kind of going through the same stuff. I do think in more areas than one that you're better than them. But their first, they got Mississippi State last weekend, going into the dude, coming off some confidence, getting a sweep just like you did. You're going on the road. It is tough to win in this conference, man. It is tough to win in this conference on the road against good teams. You got to come out strong and fast. You got to come guns blazing like it's a James Bond movie. You gotta start off fast here, man. Don't play around with them. When you're up and you got momentum, you gotta seize on it. This is where the part of the season starts getting really fun. That starting lineup, striking out 150 times is a lot. That's based off of their website, by the way. That is a lot. So anyway, all right. Let's get to a couple of questions. JHNB, I guess John B, says, how is Texas at pitching? I think they've been good. Their staff has gotten hit around a little bit. They do have issues with walks. Again, I think I might have said the first 5 guys on those 150 strikeouts. That's not correct. All 9 guys have struck out 150 times. My brain was missed on that one. But I think their staff has been fine from where I've seen them. The Rojas kid did come in last night. The number one guy they got, at least out of appearances. I say it's, I mean, when you're throwing a guy out there that much, I mean, you must have a lot of faith in him. But Rojas threw last night, and he's got stuff, man. He's got stuff. They got guys. I'm just going to tell you, they got some players now. Do I think they're better than you? No. Do I think you can get to their pitching staff? Yes. I mean, their best guy went against UTSA last night out of the pen and got touched. He got touched. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Rojas was the one late in the 12th inning that gave up the bomb for UTSA to win it. So, yeah, I think that their Friday and Saturday night guys have been very consistently good. Very consistently good. They've been touched a little. They've given up some home runs. I think they've given up 2 home runs, or either 1 or 2 home runs apiece. I forget. But they've been solid, man. I mean, they really have been solid, and that is why they're a top 25 team. I mean, Schlossnagle is not a bad coach at all. I do kind of feel like it's a Schlossnagle team in year 1 when he was at A&M. Maybe not as good as maybe as talented and deep, but remember now, Schloss, I mean, they had a great year 1. Now, they didn't beat you, but they still had a pretty decent year 1 when he was at A&M. It reminds me a lot of that. A lot of powers in that lineup. That's the thing that stands out the most to me, that scares me the most. And maybe because just of the bullpen. And I don't know what you're going to do on Saturdays and Sundays. I don't feel confident there right now. Like I could see Anthony Ianson and Chase Shores getting touched. Right? Like, kissed by a rose if, like, my name's Seal. You know, like I could see balls being touched by Texas this weekend. That's what scares me. Because I've seen lesser teams do that to you on Saturdays and Sundays. It's going to be interesting, man. Dorian says, wonder how much Oklahoma and Texas paid to play LSU at home. Don't get me started on that. Dorian, I went on SEC Unfiltered, and I talked about that, and people called me all kinds of craziness. They said I was soft. The own fan base said I was soft, and I was like, no, we've been in the SEC. When you have these premier matchups, why are we the only one? Why are we constantly going to Texas? They were like, well, the schedule. The schedule wouldn't line up that way. But why are we going back-to-back years to South Carolina then? I say back-to-back years. You went in 23. You didn't go there in 24. But we've gone, like, to Carolina in 23. We're going back there again. Like, the scheduling is stupid. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. You didn't play Missouri last year either. You didn't play South Carolina last year either. You can change up the scheduling. I don't know. Brandon Graziano says, I think they came to the box and did beat us, Blake. Who did? Texas? No. Who are you talking about, Brandon? Who am I missing? We went to Texas. A&M. Right. Schlossnagle's first year is what you're saying. Oh, okay. I think Schloss's first year was the Skeens year. He only was at A&M for 2 years, wasn't he? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You're probably right, Brandon. You're probably right. Yeah, Brandon's probably right there. I might be misremembering. I don't know. It's going to be a fun series, man. It's going to be a really fun series. P-Dub says that dude that ended their game was slinging it. Dude was shoving hard. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about Rojas can sling it too. He got touched now. He got touched. P-Dub says, a grown man whining that this is stupid. It's so dumb. It's a bit whiny. All right, P-Dub. You want to go there? Let's go there. You went to Texas how many times in the last 3 years? Why do we have to go back on the road to play them? Why? They got a favorable schedule in the SEC when it comes to football. They got another one here. Go look at Oklahoma's schedule. It's not whiny. It's real. It is real. It is very real. They are pandered to, bro. It is so wild to me that you can call out like something that's just actually real. They got pandered to in football. Bro, by the way, all of their ranked games, all of their ranked opponents, every one of them are at home. In the beginning of the season, they had 5 teams that they played during a weekend that were in the top 10. Every single one of them were at home. When you have 2 new teams coming into the conference, from a scheduling standpoint, for everybody, everything should be off. So even if, like, we went to Tennessee, 2 back-to-back years. Why? Like in the late Palmineri era. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That makes no sense whatsoever. You can call it whiny. It's just reality. Anyway, all right. Let's do this. Let's get to a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about a little bit about recruiting. Tristen Key committing to LSU. Stay with us. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Foss and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Foss has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. Hear that? I don't even know that y'all can actually hear that. T-ball is underway for my son Ben, though. Speaking of baseball, went and got some new cleats. My man got some solid whites. Said, Daddy, I want the solid whites. I was like, so fresh and so clean. Now you got to keep them clean, right? Like you can't be having them white Nikes out there. Can't have the white Nikes out there. Got to shine them things up now. If we're going to be styling and profiling, you got to look good now. Can't be playing around with the white Nikes. All right, let's get to it here. LSU and Brian Kelly got some great news, or at least was able to share some publicly really great news today. As Tristen Key's the number 1 wide receiver in the country, the number 3 rated player in the entire country in the 2026 class out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and Hattiesburg High School has committed to LSU. Now, let's get the inevitable out of the way here. Tristen Keys was at LSU, not into the, what was it, yesterday, 2 days ago, whatever it was, on a visit. Next day he commits. Publicly he commits. What happened there? Well, there are a couple of things, and I think that this should settle, at least from what I've been told. I do think that this should settle. Some things about the first thing that was mentioned to me when Tristen Keys committed to LSU, it being that position, it being a player out of state. Well, does it really matter, or does it really mean anything when he commits? And last year you had DK Moore who committed and then he left to Oregon. Yeah, nobody in the LSU fan base understands and knows that one a little bit more than your boy. I don't think that it's possible. He did commit on the show, by the way. I don't think it's possible. I'll just say it like that. Here's what I will say, though. I do not believe that LSU was built in the structure of what they can and will do now in recruiting. You've shown the country that you will spend the money. And now with TV revenue share and a conscious effort into NIL, I do think that you are going to continue to win these battles. Now, you did do it for one and DJ Pickett a year ago. You were in the mix and you did some matching with even guys like Bryce Underwood, but I would assume that Bryce went for more guaranteed money. Good on him for doing that. And a lot of LSU players, for what it's worth, got a lot of guaranteed money in the NFL this weekend. Even Daniil Hunter got in on the guaranteed money today. If you didn't see, Daniil Hunter's going back to the Texans on a one-year deal. But Tristen Keys, okay, I think a lot of people want to relate this to DK Moore. I don't feel that being the same vibe at the current moment. I don't think that, I mean, this kid didn't do some big elaborate situation where he went in and committed and he needed like some big audience. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. He committed the day after leaving LSU. Why? I would assume that meeting that he had with Brian Kelly, and I'm sure Cortez Hankton, and I'm sure a lot of other administrative people that are on that staff. And I say staff, I didn't say coaching staff. Staff. I would assume that went very well. It's not hard sometimes in recruiting to put 2 and 2 together. But the number 3 player in the nation would be a couple of things here if you're able to hold on. And I understand your worry, because one thing that I know about recruiting and that we should always talk about is money will talk and bullshit will walk. Hattiesburg's actually closer to Baton Rouge than Oxford, by the way. When you go out there and you have a big downfall in the Bryce Underwood thing and the Cade Phillips thing that happened publicly to you, and then you have a situation where that you wanted to go in the portal last spring for defensive tackles and you whiffed. Now when you make these big recruiting splashes, you have to start landing now that you've shown that you've put the money forth. You got to. You have to. You can't be losing in those situations. You got to go and get them. You got to go and win them. When you recruit top 10, let's just even say top 5 level talent, and we don't know what DJ Pickett is going to be this year. We don't know what his career is going to be. But more times than not, these guys are going to hit when they're in the top 5. They don't get missed in the top 10. Very rarely does that happen, right? Very, very rarely does that happen. But I can go and look at all of these classes as an example, okay, of what happened the last couple of seasons when you go and get top 5 guys. Okay, like I could go to the 2022 class as an example. Travis Hunter, Walter Nolan, Drew Allar, Malachi Starks, Harold Perkins. Well, you did get top 5, and Harold Perkins is still here. But Malachi Starks, Drew Allar, Walter Nolan, Travis Hunter, have they been doing really good? You know, I go to the 2021 class as an example, regardless of what you think about Quinn Ewers, but Quinn Ewers, JT Tumalau, Corey Foreman, who did bust. So there is one in there. Leonard Taylor, J.C. Latham, Jack Sawyer. Yeah, a lot of those guys are going to hit here. You need it at that position because you have a lot of exit that's going to be happening next season, whether it be Aaron Anderson more than likely, whether it be Chris Hilton, whether it be Barrion Brown, whether it be somebody from the portal. You're going to need, or somebody leaving to go to the portal this spring, whatever it's going to be, you need dudes there. This kid is going to probably, more than likely, he sees the vision that LSU sells him. Like, hey, man, we're going to do what we got to do in NIL. You just saw what Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson just got paid for being here. For being here. You can come and do that too. You 100% can come and do that here too. And he might have to play early. And I look at a guy like DJ Pickett, and I said that earlier. I look at him and say to myself, what has been the buzz about him? Well, the kid came in here and he can play. Of course he can. Of course he can. I know you got to hold on. I know a lot of you will say, Blake, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I just exited out of my notes. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wait until the kid signs. And you know what? For good on you. Good on you for doing that. But I do look at the 2026 class as a whole. And I do think that you're going to get a lot more better news throughout the summer. Especially in early July. I feel as if, and I hope that you remember this, I think you're going to get a lot of really good news when it comes to recruiting. But you got to land Lamar Brown. You got to land Blaine Bradford. You've already landed Aiden Hall that I think will play safety, and you've got the two top safeties in your state. You still have guys out there that are uncommitted, the top two guys in your state. But guys, you get a kid that's a 5-star from Hattiesburg that's actually not that far from you. You get the local kids that are, what is Lamar Brown? Number 31 total in the country. Well, so he's a 5-star. Yeah. You got a lot of really good talent, man, that you can go and get. Now, a lot of people have asked with this addition, what happens with Booby Feaster and Jabari Mack? I don't know yet completely. And I will be honest. I know that there's a lot of speculation, but I feel like the room is divided on what they do with that room and the additions of Tristen Keys. I would warn you of one other caution. When you hold on to somebody and somebody else leaves you, like you don't get a Bowie Feaster or a Jabari Mack, when that happens, okay, you can't miss. Because, like, as an example, you didn't get a quarterback in this high school class, and you needed one. You 100% needed one. It will be interesting, man. I do think that, guys, no matter what you do, here's what I'd say. I thought that this is what I thought a year ago today. I'll just be an open book here. I knew that there had been a lot of efforts to raise money. I thought that LSU would spend a lot of that money because of Brian Kelly's thought process on high school recruiting. They did it in the portal instead. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like you're in a better spot at the current moment. If Texas comes calling, if other schools come calling, do you match up with them? I don't know. I legitimately don't know. What I do know is that at least now you have more of a fighting shot. And by the way, if you're going to win in these high school battles, you got to start paying there too. Can't be just the portal. You got to pay up. I'm not taking a top 5 guy that's coming out of high school. Well, when you don't do that now, Colin Simmons goes to Texas and absolutely destroys human beings in the playoff. You need those game changers. God forbid you're in a big game situation and DJ Pickett picks one off. Well, that's money well spent because I guarantee you, DJ Pickett's going to have an interception this year. Going to happen. Knock on wood that he stays healthy and all that. He's gonna grab him a pick. It's going to happen. And when that happens, if that part of the time is in a critical spot and critical situation, and it helps your team to win, the money you're spending will be irrelevant. And then you'll call in here into the postgame and be like, man, Blake, that DJ Pickett, man, we finally got us a dog back there. We got us a dog back there. And I'm going to say, remember when people were squabbling about paying high school recruits in the top 5? It's what you got to do. It's what you got to do, Big Daddy. It's the way of the land. The last thing I'd say here about Tristen Keys, I spent all this time because it's a massive land for you talking about all the political stuff that we need to talk about. And no, I'm not talking about actual politics, but the political stuff around that edition. Him as a player, guys, there's a reason he's the number 1 wide receiver in the country. When these guys are that highly rated, especially at a position, especially at a skill position like that one, 9 times out of 10, guys, it's a quarterback. There's going to be a couple quarterbacks in there, defensive end, defensive tackles. When you're that highly rated at the skill position, the boundary, it's a massive deal, man. It is a 100% massive deal. Kick and play. Kick and outright ball. So, got to hold on to him, yes. But if that kid stunts and he puts on a Tiger uniform, he's going to be an outright baller for you. All right. Sip G says on YouTube, I saw Saban offer a 1-star and the next day he was a 4-star. You know, it's funny. You know what's funny about that? What's funny about that is, remember Aaron Anderson was a 3-star? This is the one that was the most blatant. Even though I did think Aaron was that good. And I do think he's that good. When Aaron Anderson decommitted from LSU during the Orgeron debacle and he committed to Bama, he jumped like 1,100 spots and became a 5-star in 2 months. Aaron Anderson was great at Carr, but dude, 1,100 spots in 2 months. Yo, dog. Yo, that's a lot. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all have a good night. Peace.